How original.
They're running that SMG build, aren't they?
LMG.
I got all 4, Bob. Oh, I got all 40. Yo, what's up, guys? King TV here. So as you just seen in the video right before this, the clip, the build is really good. You see, I have a lot of sustained healing and I have a lot of DPS. The downside is you pretty much just get like the usual armor that you get on like pretty much any build in World War 5. It feels like that unless you really spec a lot into armor, you won't really get like higher values in this. Like people usually sit around 200k, 220k armor and 52,000 health. I think that's normal, so we're chilling. So we're doing a meta thing for World War 5 damage builds that is pretty common. I think a lot of streamers are doing it, but I really just want to do my own build here and basically get you guys you know, hooked up with what I'm doing here. So we're doing an LMG build, flat damage of course, which is like what the build is right now. And I want to go and spec into really high skill power. So we got like 2400, almost 2400 skill power over here for the hive. And we go all the way to 3000 skill power when we go all the way down to the chem launcher here, because we spec a lot for the chem launcher. And the reason we spec into the chem launcher is because we'll be getting these mods over here that increase our healing effect. I haven't been lucky and I didn't get the mods yet, but you can get like above, like you can get 50% increased healing on both of these mods right here. And the skill power requirement is like 2600 skill power. One of my friends has it, and it is really powerful. So basically when I drop one heal on the ground, it goes from the bottom of, like I can be at 0 armor and I can heal all the way up back to like full. And if I drop 2 heals like on myself before peeking a player and then start shooting, I can basically tank his damage and just threshold the damage really well. And the healing is over time is really crazy. I don't like using defender drone and the shields or stuff like that too much. I think it's too meta. And I like to basically just have a lot of mobility, and the handling bonuses that you get from the boost hive here is really cool. And you need a skill anyways for the build that goes on cooldown real fast. So I think the booster hive is really fun, especially for the mobility buff that you get. So we use booster hive on our build, and we get a lot of movement speed, weapon handling, and we get a lot of different buffs. So you want to stack cooldown reduction here and like buff duration. Alright, so for me, my playstyle, I think you can adjust depending on your playstyle. You can use like one LMG chatterbox or like the merciless or whatever. But I like to do double LMG just because of how my reloads are, and I'll show you my reloads like speed weapon swapping thing, and it's really good. Alright, so basically, as I said earlier, we do like a very similar build that everyone does. So the first thing I want to talk about is how much weapon damage we get with the build as it is right now. So when we're not buffed and we shoot players, we get up to 81% weapon damage. So we hit people pretty hard already. And when we're fully buffed, we can go up to 138% weapon damage against players. And that's when you start melting people at an insane rate. An insane rate, honestly. That's all I gotta say. We could go way higher in our weapon damage here. We're not fully optimized, but I think we're close to fully optimized for when for this build. And if I manage to get the last pieces, then I'll probably just do another video to correct like the pieces I fixed and basically tell you the values we get. So if we play demolitionist instead of sharpshooter, and I'll explain later why I use sharpshooter instead of demo, I could go all the way up to 185%, but that would require me to get a god roll on my chest piece, which means, for example, like a 6% weapon damage increase here instead of headshot damage. Then it would mean for my backpack to be a god roll as well, and to get another 6% weapon damage here. And then I didn't put these values too high. I'm pretty sure that getting those numbers would be rather easy. So yeah. So if I break it down, like for the damage, we use on the ropes, So we need 7 or more skill power or yellow mods to basically get 25% increase damage when skills are on cooldown. Just tune down the music here a bit because it's a little loud. Alright, sorry about that, guys. So if I keep going here, we also use unhinge, so that's another 25%. That's a weapon mod roll that we get. So we lose a lot of weapon handling, and this is one of the reasons why we go sharpshooter, is we get more weapon handling, or well, more control over our weapon. We don't get exactly weapon handling, but we get stuff that benefits our gun in the weapon handling department without being a flat weapon handling bonus. But we get another 25% here, so now we're already at 50% total. We use compensated on the gloves, so we need 3 res or less, and we need to not spec into crit chance. So now that's another 15%, and then with the 6% roll here and the 10% from Petrov that we get, that's 16% LMG damage again, which basically summarizes 81% total unbuffed. So 81% unbuffed. Why do I say that? I think it's because, well, it's not because I think, it's because personally, from my gameplay experience, keeping on the ropes active is really, really easy. All you have to do is put your hive on the ground, get the boost, and destroy it, and then boom, you're good for 90 seconds, and you can use compensated all you want. All you have to do afterwards is click your heal once in a while to make sure that it's always on cooldown, and you're good, and you get your 25% damage buff. So it's super, super easy to keep it up. So then, what I consider total buff, damage, would be like when I get unstoppable proc. So that as soon as I down the first target, I get 41% increased damage because of me having 215,000 armor. And then I don't think that you can absolutely rely on the LMG buff at all times for every kill for the damage to targets out of cover, because it depends if they're playing positioning and playing cover really well, or if they're doing the Zerg rush. If they're Zerg rushing you with the Pipica build at like Vector 9 mil. Alright, so it's really like not a consistent thing that you can like really like put out here. So that's why I put it in when I'm fully buffed on the player. So if I'd be fighting someone rushing me with no cover, then you know I would get the 50% here. So yeah, if we went demo, we could get 15% like more damage just flat for the LMG. And then up to 35% from demo if we had 4 demos on the same team, which doesn't really happen when I play with my my homies. All right. So I think for solo play, sharpshooter is insane. If you have like a full stack of people playing like a SMG/LMG build and you're using demo, then definitely go for demo. All right. So now that we've talked about the weapon damage, I want to talk about the gear rolls and stuff and how we manage to achieve all this skill power. So, first of all, let's talk about the ongoing directive. So, to counteract the unhinged talent on your weapon, you need to counteract it with grabbing weapon handling wherever you can. And I was thinking that like the passives basically on the mask and on the knee pads doesn't really compare to like getting just flat 20% weapon handling at all times, meaning that you don't have to like be in cover. Yes, I could be using brace, I think, on knee pads. That when you're in cover, you get increased like weapon handling by 25%, and that would be fine too, honestly. So if I keep going on here, the mask, you wouldn't get really like anything amazing. I guess that the best one would be probably to get 10% increased skill power, which would help a lot for just, I guess, more boost and on the hive and more heals. But we already meet the thresholds for most of the mods that we're using already. So I think using these two is really good. And if you don't feel like you like the gameplay for this, then you can use like another knee pad that has like a really high like skill power roll here, because you can get like 400 or something, and it's a pretty good roll. I think you can probably get above, but I haven't seen one yet. And while I'm talking about knee pads, this week, while if you watch the video in time, basically they're selling a knee pad in the campus, which is like a really low gear score, but the knee pad itself has a 396 skill power roll on it, which is really, really powerful. So you can just use that skill power roll to re-roll it on ongoing directive, which seems to always have a yellow slot here, and then a yellow and a red mod here, from what I've seen so far. So for the mask, I also go for skill power, and then I get health. You get a pretty good skill power here as well, almost 300 again. and you get health because that's pretty much all you can get. That's really good. That's like health and heat. Hazard protection wouldn't be too bad, but I guess I got lucky with the map. On the holster here, you could get like a really fat health roll it for a different build, but in my case, like 720 flat skill power is a lot of skill power. And then it ended up being on a Douglas and Harding. It doesn't really matter which brand you're using here. 5% accuracy isn't all too bad, to be honest. So we'll just take it. And we're also using filler up here. Filler up basically, you know, LMGs have a pretty big downside with the reload speed. So as a last resort, if I'm really in a bad situation and my weapons are not reloaded and stuff, I can switch to the double barrel shotgun real quick, pop, reload, and all my guns are reloaded, and it's just very convenient for plays with like 1v4 players or 2v4 players where you're always like outnumbered. Next of all, for my gloves, I went for gloves, the Ghillie gear. It could be a different pair of gloves, but basically for me, in my build, it was hard to get enough blues going for the unstoppable to be on there on the build. So we decided to go for less LMG damage here. So when it's a hybrid build here, a hybrid like blue and red here, or yellow and red, when it's 2 stats on your gloves, you seem to be getting lesser rolls. So 6% seems to be max LMG damage I can get here on the gloves. So yeah, so we get health again, just for the blue stat that we need, and then we go compensated here on the gloves. When it comes to the chest piece, we got lucky. We got a Petrov chest piece, so we get the LMG damage. We're really happy. We get a pretty good skill power roll. I've seen way higher. Like I think I have a 700 something skill power somewhere here. If I can just find it, I might have put it in my stash. But yeah, I have like a 700 or almost 800 skill power roll on the chest piece here somewhere. So like this could be better for sure. And then like I said, if I had weapon damage here earlier instead of headshot damage, it would be really good. And we're using unstoppable, and then with the gear mods. And then I think our final piece we didn't talk about is the backpack. The backpack is 2 blue mods, and it's Ghillie gear because it's like another blue mod here. And we have on the ropes. Health on kill here is pretty bad. It's not a gout. Like backpacks is really hard to get. I'm pretty happy that I had 4 of the things I needed here already, which was 3 blues, which is basically barely putting me on the 7 minimum requirement here for my requirement for unstoppable. So yeah, and if this would for this to be better, I think if you had vital or harden instead of health on kill, that would be best in slot for sure. And of course weapon damage here.
Backup request.
Sorry, I can't help you now. All right, and weapon damage here on your red attribute. So yeah, we end up getting 2-piece. So we get the hazard protection 2-piece from Ghillie gear, which isn't too bad. We get the 5% total armor, which is pretty good as well. So I think overall we're getting pretty good set bonuses from all the way around. To make the I don't know, like I could make my weapon handling a little better if I went for like a Y'all gear brand set or something. We could get like 10% weapon handling for just having a 1-piece. So I think if you get like a Y'all mask or gloves that can fit in your build, well, yeah. So do you get the general idea about the build and what we're doing here? The reason why I don't put the offensive mods here on my backpack and on the knee pads is because I'd be basically going over the three red attributes. I'll go all the way to 5. So I could do that if you have some really powerful LMG mods, like for example like a blue mod with 6% LMG damage. You could put it in there on the knee pads and put it on the backpack if they're the right thing, like the right slot. I think they have to be systems, right? So it's probably not even going to work anyways. Well, you have a systems on the backpack and you have a protocol, so you wouldn't even be able to do it anyways. So if you put the 2 mods in there, then you have to remove compensated and probably put devastated. And devastated being a passive talent. So if you can't get the right gloves going, you could basically just do devastated and put your 2 offensive mod and still be like at 5 like reds and still maybe losing like a little tiny bit of damage compared to compensated, but it would still be like very similar. Gun wise, I am in love with the MG5. The burst damage it has, like at medium range to long range, is absolutely insane. I think for god roll, either having, I don't know, rate of fire is really good here for sure. For the second talent, I don't have a god roll yet. It's really hard to get a really high damage roll, like a gun in general. So basically I got a really high damage roll here on my MG5, then I had to reroll the first talent, and then I had to keep whatever I had here, right? So accurate isn't too bad. I think jazz hands for reload speed would be really good. I think rate of fire would be best in slot, and I think weapon optimized for weapon handling would be pretty good too, as well over here. Alright, so when it comes to my my military M60, I have unhinged again here and 10% fire rate. So I think this is already like perfect. And while holstered, weapon swap speed increased by 10%, which is really good for the speed reload thing we do already. So just go for high damage roll first. That's the #1 thing that matters on your gear. I mean on your weapons when you find new weapons. And then the first talent is always the best talent. And if you're lucky, like a god roll is just like the 2 first talents being whatever you want. And I haven't rerolled my shotgun yet because I keep forgetting that basically I have to get the talent here that when you shoot bullets you get like 85% bonus damage or whatever. You know, they're really OP like shotgun talent basically. But that's about it for the gear. I think I haven't talked about gear mods, but basically for my gear mods, over here I have a protocol, so I just put like the highest skill power I could, so 113. That's all that really matters. Over here on the backpack we have a defensive system mods. So I think percentage armor is always crazy like armor numbers, because even if you have like a really fat like harbor roll on the top side here, it doesn't really matter, because that 3% armor by itself is giving you like over 6,000 armor when you have like 200k armor, so it's already like insane. So percentage armor is really good here. On the gloves we have another protocol, so we have like another really fat skill power, like flat of 151 skill power here. On the holster we have a systems one, and then when we have systems one we always try and go for hybrid scale power, and with chem launcher scale power. So over here we get like over 300 like chem launcher scale power, 333 to be exact, which is absolutely insane. On the holster we have another systems one, then we get flat scale power, extra outgoing healing, and then another like really fat chem launcher scale power roll here for the heal. On the chest piece we have another utility, so another yellow, so we get another like skill power. Oh, this is the systems. I might be able to do better here. What do I have? Maybe this one here. Depends on my mask. What does my mask have right here? So yeah, this is the highest I can get. Like I don't have anything else here. I'm already using the 151. Okay. But wait, I'm using the 151. Yeah, over here. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So we're already using my 2 protocols. So I think we just buffed our skill power overall anyways over here. So we lost a little bit of flat skill power, but we're getting an insane chem launcher skill power here and hive skill power again. So just by doing that little change, I'm just gonna check the stats real quick so you guys see the change I did. So basically we get over 3,000 chem launcher skill power, and we get 2,558 hive skill power over here, which is is way higher than what I was getting before. I was getting almost 3,000 for the chem launcher, and I was getting 2,400 or almost 2,500 here for the hive. So yeah, I just now realized that I had an upgrade for my chest piece over here. So I'll just be saving that real quick, and boom. So I think that's it for the build. I just want to show you basically why. So that's it for the build. All right. Now I'm going to be talking about specializations and like damage and like just overall like maneuvers you can do. So if you think like you have enough info by now, you can stop watching the video, or you can keep watching all the way to the end. It's up to you. So you can see basically over here I'll be doing some damage tests in the firing range real quick for a couple minutes, and then that's going to be a wrap, alright? So here's how the MG5 shoots real quick. So the reason why I use sharpshooter over demolitionist is I don't feel like that 15% weapon damage when you play solo or duo is really cutting it compared to like what you get with the specialization from sharpshooter. Sharpshooter you get like headshot damage, so in the end you'll be melting people anyway. All right, so that was pretty much the damage I can do on elites. They die pretty fast. So you see, I'm gonna go on the next one here so you guys can see how accurate it becomes and how fast it does. So in PvP, you can laser people from pretty far away with my MG5. I always use my MG5 for long range combat because it is really accurate. Look at this over here. I could be laser beaming people like from like at least 50 meters, and they will be going down in one clip usually. And then if you see again here, like you need to remember here, like we have unhinged, we're losing a lot of weapon handling, and look at how like easy it is to keep the reticle low, like closed, all the way closed, like, and be like accurate over here. So that's why I like sharpshooter a lot, is because they help a lot with the weapon handling and they help a lot with the reload speed. We'll be covering the reload speed in a second. So if I shoot the M60 here from a distance, you see that it's a lot slower, it's a lot harder to control the recoil, and it doesn't melt as fast. And it's hard for me to go for the headshots, so usually I like to keep my MG5 for medium range to close range because it is an absolute shredder as well, and it just keeps shooting, and you can keep on shooting and keep on shooting because you have 100 rounds in the clip, and it is overall an amazing weapon. So if you see over here, I just cheesed the reload again here, so there's a reload glitch maybe, and but like even without doing the reload glitch, look at how fast I'm reloading an LMG. Like, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I'll be shooting over here a little bit. Boom, I'm reloading. It's not taking that long, and we're ready to shoot again. So the reload speed feels really good. And I think I forgot to talk about my weapon mods, what I put on my weapon mods. So yeah, why the reload speed feels that good is because you get 30% from the sharpshooter specialization. And the way I build my weapons is I go for accuracy on the sight, and then I go for accuracy on the muzzle. But then when it comes to the grip, well, on the M60 I can go for reload speed here, but I'm forced to do accuracy because there's no better option, to be honest. And then I do reload speed over here on the mag, so 20% reload speed. So we get base 50% reload speed with all the weapon handling bonuses we get on the build. It feels really good. And then for the M60, like I said, like the only difference on my mods is that I got reload speed on my grip because the reload speed is really good. So I get like a bonus reload speed for the M60. So I'll show you again like how I shoot, like how fast I can shoot with these guns, and how fast the reload speed is, and it just feels really good. So we reload like at least twice as fast as if we would be demolitionist. And that is usually your big downside when you PvP with this build and you go demolitionist, is that you don't have enough time to reload. If you, for example, like killed 2 people already and you have to keep shooting because there's a 3rd one or a 4th one, well, you know, if you can't reload fast enough, well, you're gonna get fucked. So lastly, I just want to talk about the reload little thing you can do over here. So I'm gonna be cheesing the reload over here on my gun. If you look very closely, I'll just be switching my weapons to the MG5, and then I can just cheese the reload and just have my look, like I just have like all my bullets again. So you see, like I didn't finish the reload on my M60, and then I switched to my other weapon, and then I had 100 rounds in the clip. So I'll do it again right here. I can reload and then switch weapons, and then if you look again, if I switch back, it's 100 it has 100 rounds in the mag. So I still have like I managed to reload twice as fast as before. So we're already reloading really fast with sharpshooter, and now we're reloading even faster with this reload thing. So for this reload like thing to work, you need to wait for the reload to be halfway completed. How can you tell the reload is halfway completed? You have a little white bar that is progressing towards the top of your screen when you're reloading, and that's basically showing you like at what state of the reload it's at. So when the white bar is at half of the reload or higher, then you can switch and you'll be having the reload speed buff over here, which is absolutely nuts if you ask me over here. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you liked the build. I'll be putting a gameplay video of PvP. It was pretty fun yesterday when we did that PvP session. We were 3v3v3 in Occupied DZ, and I do believe this build is better in Occupied DZ than normalized overall, just because of how the skill power is really tuned down in the normalized DZ compared to the Occupied. and it basically stops us from using our weapon mods, not our weapon mods, but our skill mods on here on the skills. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out on Twitch whenever you want. We do a lot of PvP, a lot of PvE, and I like to optimize my stuff a lot. And I'll catch you out there in the dark zone. Peace.